Okay. What's up, y'all? I'm Christina Chappetta with Pinkbike, and today we're gonna meet up with Jesse Melamed here in Squamish, BC. It's his current hometown, and if you've been living under a rock, Jesse has just won the Finale Gert and the Zermatt stops of the shortened EWS this year. So we've snagged Jesse's bike, we've got it here. He's not here yet, so I'm gonna do a little look around, see what kind of cool stuff I can find out. I do already know that he's riding a medium-sized Rocky Mountain altitude. It's a brand new bike for this year. It was only released like mid-summer, so there's a lot of new stuff going on there, but let's dig a little deeper, see what else we can find out. Okay, so the obvious things, we've got Rocky Mountain altitude here. Jesse's running it on two 29er wheels. It's not a mullet bike, kind of crazy. Everyone's doing the mullet thing these days, but not Jesse. Seems to work well for him. First thing you notice when you look at this bike is the awesome wrap job. It was made just for Jesse, so we're gonna get up close, see what some of these fun little things are, these cute little hand doodles. We've got Maxxis tires front and back here, running the Assegai up front, the DHR in the rear. So it looks like Jesse's going, we got double down up front with max grip. In the rear though, we can see he's going for max grip as well and downhill casing. That's pretty common, I'd say, for like some of the top riders that are going really fast, especially the bigger guys. You know, they really like that extra puncture resistance in the rear so they can send it into those rock gardens. I like the fender dender up there. That's a technical term in case you guys were wondering, fender dender. So in Zermatt we had snow. So I'm sure the fender was providing some good protection for the eyes there. Looks like Jesse's running the Fox suspension. He's got the 38 fork, got the DHX2 DH, how about that? And looks like a transfer post in the back. Lots of drop in that post. I'm pretty intrigued to know what kind of drop he's running there because it looks like he can fully slam it down into the bike, which is going to be a big deal when it comes to the steeper tracks. It looks like full Shimano drivetrain, XTR, you know, only the nice bits for these guys, 12-speed drivetrain. We got a full-size water bottle in there. That's something you don't see on all enduro bikes these days. Big days in the saddle, you're gonna want some water. So full-size bottle, that's pretty radical. Got the 1UP EDC tool there, I can see. XTR brakes up front. Obviously 4 pistons gonna slow you down a lot quicker, a lot more efficiently than 2 pistons. So we can see here Jesse's running the Crank Brothers Mallet E pedals and a little WTB saddle action. I think it's time to bring Jesse in and do a little grilling on his bike setup here. Come on down, sir.
How's it going?
So good.
I saw you stole my bike, so I decided to come and take it back.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. If some kid was running away with your bike, you probably would chase him down. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. This is what we're really interested in here today. This bike has won 2 EWS rounds this year. So can you tell us a little bit more about your setup, Jesse, and the specifics? People want to know how they can ride like Jesse Melamed.
Well, yeah, step 1 is buy the bike. Yeah, we got the brand new Altitude, which coincidentally, the last win that I had 3 years ago was on the older version of the Altitude. So it's kind of cool to come back to this and win again. Kind of shows that Rocky's doing things pretty well. Of course, there's a few things that are a little bit custom on this bike just because I spent all winter on this Slayer and was kind of preparing to race that at the first couple of races before we got this one. And when you're mid-season and you're straight into racing, there's not much time to really get used to or dial in a bike. So I've got this custom Ride 9 chip, which just kind of matches the leverage curve on the Slayer, as well as the rear end. We have a custom rear end chip that it makes the rear end the same length as the Slayer as well.
Sick.
So that was pretty cool. That was awesome that Rocky kind of did that for us because they obviously don't want us to be changing the bike right away, but it was just so I could get on this bike and feel comfortable, and obviously it worked. Once I get more time on this in the winter, I'll find the settings of this bike that actually work better. Went to the coil. This bike's a little bit more progressive than the previous bikes that we've run, and I always preferred the suppleness of a coil. Doesn't totally suit my riding style. I like to just jump around and do moves, and the air is a little bit better for that support and kind of pop you can get. But I just kind of changed my riding and it worked. The bike's a bit longer, which also changed my riding style. I bumped up to a 40 mil stem on this bike, because I was having issues with my front wheel traction, which is I think all my previous crashes.
And what did you have before?
32,
What?
so it's pretty short. So just a few things to kind of, change the bike up. Kept it 29-inch wheels. I've done a little testing with the mullet, but this bike's built around 29-inch wheels and it works.
Can you give us some like really in-depth knowledge on how you set up your suspension?
For me, I just like to set up my bike so that it's consistent and I know exactly what it's going to be doing. I spend a lot of time at home just really dialing in to get my suspension to feel good. That's where I start. And then usually we go to a Fox testing session and get the experienced knowledge from those guys. And that kind of helps. And then I really just don't change things. If it gets wet, I'll take off some compression or some rebound. But otherwise, it's a long process. And we got a new product this year, so it was a restarting process and a new bike as well.
Yeah.
But it's just about, for me, balancing the bike. And especially now that this bike's longer for me, it actually changed my body position, and I feel like I can be more in the center of my bike, and I need it to be even more balanced than usual.
What are your go-to tire pressures?
For Zermatt, I think I was down to 18, front and back.
Front and back?
Yeah, just because you were smashing stuff, but it doesn't matter because you have the cush core, and I just really wanted to have traction over those slick roots and rocks. And normally I'll be at 19 in the front, 20 in the back.
Do you know your settings for your fork? It's a brand new fork, so I'm sure that took a little bit of getting used to, the 38.
It's 80 PSI.
80 PSI, wow.
Rebounds are at like 6 or 7, and then compressions are pretty open.
Okay.
Both on high speed and low speed.
So when you say rebound 6 or 7, that's from fast?
From closed.
From closed.
Yeah.
Nice. And then on the shock, would you?
Same, pretty open actually. I'd say like 3/4 open on all 4 settings. And then it's just a back and forth, and you test and you kind of change one thing and you change another thing, and it's kind of like chasing your tail a bit. So I ended up on a bigger spot. The coils with this bike works really well, and I didn't feel like I had to change too much. It really felt good. It was more like getting that liveliness back into my bike, I feel like.
What about any like token spacers?
2 tokens in the fork, and the shock obviously nothing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your bars.
30 mil rise bars, and then I have quite a bit of stem spacers left on my steer tube there. Finale is a unique one, so that was obviously where this bike is from. It's got lots of fast, long, low corners, and I really needed my weight more over my front wheel, so I dropped my stem quite a bit. I'd say I dropped it like at least 10 mils probably, which is a lot. So I keep that there just so that I have, like back in Squamish now, I'll probably raise it up quite a bit. I usually like a really high front end. And then short or narrow bars at 740. I'm a small guy, so any little like extra mils on going by trees really fast.
Yeah, exactly. Nice. Bobbing and weaving. Do you run a wider bar on like your Slayer setup, or you just keep it
consistent?
Run us through your cockpit there. We've got
we got the brand new, or I guess year-old XTR 4-piston brakes. Huge improvement over both the Saint and the old XTR, just in terms of modulation and power. Race face lever with the Fox transfer post, which is 175 mils. Fully slammed. Luckily it fits me just perfectly. 12-speed group set, 10 to 45%. I ran the small one just for less kind of weight in the back wheel to make the suspension work better, less chain slap.
And what else? What do you run in your EDC tool? I know there's a lot of options you can fit in there, so what do you have?
I just have a tire plug.
Some people have like a little power link in there as well.
I have, quick link in there, and then I usually carry a CO2 and a tire lever, and then I have a super small tube that looks like that film canister.
This little guy.
Yeah, that's a Tubolito.
Oh, I've heard about those.
So it's
those
taped
are wild.
up and taped to my ball cage.
Yeah. Let's talk about this saddle. It looks like it's quite narrow for a little tushy.
I think it's 127 mils watch. Just the WTB Silverado. I've ridden it for a long time.
Yeah, and
like
it just works.
My entire Enduro career.
That's good.
I think we went straight onto WTB, back in 2012 or whatever, and I've used it and I like it. It's on my road bike.
Nice.
Every bike, it does work. I feel like once it worked, I'm like, okay. I'm not gonna ask any questions.
And are you a chamois guy or a no chamois guy?
guy?
Whoa, you heard it here. He's a no chamois guy.
Yeah, once you spend 8 hours in a chamois and then go to the after party or the podium and you're still in a chamois, it's not for me.
It's just not nice.
No. Yeah, Rocky built this after the previous bikes with shoving moto foam and we built out of a mud guard. We also built one of those, and it's called the Canadian Shield. to stop the loam going in there. And then my dad had an idea to add even more protection. So we got a shoe insole that we cut out and put it under there. So
I love it.
absolutely nothing gets in there.
What length cranks do you ride?
170 mil.
Nice.
Yeah. We're gonna try even shorter at 165 just because the bike's getting lower.
Yep.
We don't want to be hitting pedals, but haven't gotten a chance to do that yet. But the 170 seems to work. We got that Stages power meter on, which is pretty cool. I was scared to switch to a new wheel set whenever we switched like 3 years ago, and no issues. So they're the Turbine 30s,
Yeah.
Turbine R30s, so 30 mil wide, asymmetrical, so that the spokes are all the same length, which is pretty cool. For racing, like racing in Europe, all of our trails here are very like supported in carbon stick because you know where you're going and the line is like pretty obvious. In Europe, it's really rough terrain, sometimes not a bike trail, and you aren't always sure where you're going, and these just allow me to change lines a little bit better because they conform to the ground, and that's pretty important. And Race Face understands that, so they kind of let us pick whatever we wanted, and it's great for that. And yeah, again, no mechanical with those wheels, so can't really complain.
And most importantly, I want to know about this frame protection. This
Yeah.
is freaking cool, man.
It was amazing, and it was actually set up over like a week or so. The R&D manager at Rocky was like, hey, like we need your bike to look it over. I was like, oh yeah, sure, whatever. And then Dan from Rad Rap was like, hey, I'm just gonna pick up your bike. Steven said he wanted it in the city, and I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. So Dan came over, took my bike, and then I was having some coffee with Steven like the next day, just downtown Squamish, and I look up and I see Dan, and I was like, well, that's my bike. Why does he bring my bike back already? And then we rolled up with this, and it was super cool. So they contacted a lot of my friends and sponsors and my family, and everyone like wrote in these notes. And the cool thing with the Rad Wrap is they just scanned the note straight onto the wrap, so it's everyone's handwriting. So it's like they signed my bike, but it's a protective wrap, so I can still ride it and not damage anything. It's really cool. Yeah, it was super special, and I was speechless. Still am. I think it's the coolest thing ever. And I'm gonna have to buy a bike and replace the frame so that I can keep this frame on my wall.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was super nice of Rad Wrap to do that, and for Rocky to help out and get everyone contacted. So.
Yeah, got the fam jam there. That's so cool. What's your favorite little picture or saying?
My mom would love. There's a picture of me on this side. You have to get the camera, but it's me when I was like 3 or 4.
Oh my
My
gosh.
first medal. Yeah. There's a cool doodle of that.
That's so cute. Who doodled that? Did your mom doodle that?
No, so Lenka Prohashka, girl I actually went to high school with. She's an artist, graphic design, and she did all the doodles. And
So good.
My
My favorite is the ice cream cone.
ice cream cone, yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, it's no, there's lots of cool little things on there.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today and
Thank you.
showing
It's
us
a nice
your
day.
sick whip.
Yeah.
Cheers,
Hope you
guys.
enjoyed it. Any more questions? Just you know what?
Yeah.
I'm always on there.
Do the thing, subscribe, like, shoot him a message, DM, slide in, something. Well, that was super awesome of Jesse to join us today, give us a little rundown on his altitude. I picked up a couple little tips. I might just transfer over to my bike, but we'll see. Maybe those are the things that make me a faster rider. Make sure to stay tuned because we're gonna be doing some more of these in-depth bike checks soon enough. Make sure to like, subscribe, share with your friends.